Hello everybody and welcome to the first West Ham Slideshows YouTube video. Today I'll be going through my Premier League predictions. Starting off in 20th place, I've gone for Burnley. I don't think they're going to do well. I think you look at the squad, it's a decent squad, but Scott Parker in charge, he's going to get sacked by Christmas and your season will be ruined halfway through the season. In 19th, I've got Sunderland. Now, we all want them to stay up. I think when I speak for every fan that isn't a Newcastle fan, we want them to stay up, but I don't think they will. The squad's not good enough. Half of them will be going to AFCON. I think that will really screw them up for the season. But other than that, I just think, they're not a good enough squad. If they make a couple more signings, then who knows? But I don't think they're going to stay up. In 18th, based on the current squad, I've gone for Wolves. Now, I don't mind Wolves, but I think loss of Mateus Cunha, and they've not got anyone brilliant that stands out other than him. I just think they won't have a good season, and they'll drop down to 18th. 17th, I have Leeds. I think they'll barely stay up. I do think their squad was and is good enough to stay up in the Premier League. I think with the players like Nonto, they'll, carry them throughout the season, and I just don't think they have a bad squad in general. I think they do need to make a couple more signings, though, to really improve that squad, but if Wolves don't replace Cunha well enough, then I do think Leeds will stay up. 16th, I've gone for a shocking one, and I've gone for Brentford. Look, they've lost their manager and replaced him with a manager that's never managed properly before. They've got rid of Mbeumo and Visser, who are two of their best players, and they're two top scoring players in the Premier League of all time. And I don't think there's a standout player in that squad that will really help them to get a higher finish. I think, they'll stay up quite comfortably. I don't think they'll get sucked into a relegation fight. I just think they don't have a squad to compete well enough for those higher places in the Premier League anymore. 15th, I've gone for Everton. Now, I love David Moyes. I'm sure every West Ham fan does love David Moyes. But, I just think I look at the other teams and they're not as strong. I think they're a good team and they could do a lot better than this. But still, I think they've signed Barry, who I think is very promising, to replace Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But I just don't think they have a good enough squad as of recording to compete higher. I think they have the players to do it, and I think David Moyes is a good coach. I just don't think they will. 14th, I've gone for Fulham. Now, Fulham, in my opinion, just a boring club. It's Arsenal's B team. There's nothing spectacular. Reece Nelson's coming back, and he didn't really do too much last season. Whether he'll do better than he did last season, who knows? I hope so. I don't mind him, but I don't think they'll get that high up in the Premier League table anymore. 13th, I've gone for United. Look, United are on a downfall. They got 16th or 15th last season. I think it was 15th. And they've not, they've got Mbeumo and Cunha, who are two very good players who, keep you maybe in the top half or top of the bottom half. But no one screams in that team. I mean, Bruno maybe, but they've not got a good striker. And they're looking at Calvert-Lewin. I mean, Mbeumo and Cunha, they're good players, but, they're not good enough. Plus, Dorgu, I think he's okay. Same with Mazraoui. Their midfield, it's okay. Their defence, again, it's okay. And then Onana, they need to get another keeper in. I think Tom Heaton's better than Onana. I just don't think they will get top 10 anymore, and I think they need to learn they're a mid-table club now. 12th, I've gone for Palace. I know this is a joke, but I genuinely think, they'll get 12th again. I think they're in Europe, so it'll be hard to compete in the Premier League and Europe, whether or not they're going to be in Conference League or Europa League. And they're just a really top mid-table team. They're never going to get above 8th for a while, and they won't get below 15th. I think they'll finish 12th again, and, I don't think they'll win another trophy like last year. I think they could do well in the Conference League, but, I don't know how that's going to work for them to get top 10. 11th, I've gone for Palace's rivals, Brighton. 11th right now in the Premier League is quite good to get. It's very, very competitive between, 8th and 15th. It can be quite a close gap. And that's why I've put Brighton there. I think they have the manager to do it. He's a good manager, in my opinion. They've got a good squad. But, I think they'll be a couple points behind, like 8th or something. It'll be very close down there, like last season. But apart from that, 11th is a good place. 10th, I've gone for West Ham. Before you call me crazy, hear me out. Potter, first full season in charge, I think he'll do well. We've signed good players like Diouf, very promising, very good left back. We signed Tadiba on a permanent, good centre-back on his day. We signed Kyle Walker-Peters as good squad depth, who I think is a good Premier League right-back. I just think he wasn't good enough. I think the squad wasn't good enough at Southampton. Goalkeeper, we might sign Hermanson, who I think is a good keeper. We've got a good system under Potter. We've got Wan-Bissaka, we've got Jared Bowen. Fulkrug, he's good for the team. We've got Paqueta still, he might stay. I think we can get top 10. And whether we will or not, I don't know, but I truly believe we can get top 10.
In ninth, I have Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth, they're a team, they have a good squad, they have a very good season last season. Iraola's a brilliant manager. They lost Hoyson, for example, and I do think Hoyson's a very, very good defender. And, their squad's thinning. They've got Petrovic in goal, which I think is a very good signing. But I think there's other teams that will do slightly better than them this season. In eighth, I have Forest. Now, again, decent team, and I do think they'll do slightly worse, obviously. But, they've got a decent squad. If they keep Gibbs White, I don't like Forest for that, but I think if they keep Gibbs White, it's very good. Chris Woods, I think, will have another good season. I think, even though Elanga's gone, they've got players, like, for example, Igor Jesus. They've got, not necessarily in Elanga's position, but they've made a couple decent signings. They've got a good squad. If Gibbs White leaves, they can replace him. They've got Hudson-Odoi, I think, is still a good player. I just think, they won't have, a Europe season again, but I think they'll have a solid top 10 finish. In seventh, I have Spurs. Oh boy. I didn't really want to make this prediction because I don't like Spurs at all. And before any Spurs fans say it's a false rivalry, I just don't like them. I think, they've done some good business this window. I mean, Kudus for only about 50 million. It's worth a punt. And as much as I don't like Mohamed Kudus, I think he'll be really good for them because I think he wants to play Europe for them. Gibbs White, if they sign him, it's a very good signing. They've got a good squad. Vuskovic is a great player, and I hate to say it, I really think they'll get top 7, maybe even above 7th, but right now, I think 7th. In 6th, I have Aston Villa. I'll be so honest, I don't really know where they would finish. I guess they're not bad enough to finish mid-table, but they're not good enough to finish top 4, so 6th is a good position. I'm trying to think who they've signed. I mean, Emi Martinez might go. They've signed, a backup keeper, but 6th is a decent position for Emery's team. 5th, I have Newcastle, Champions League spot. I think with Newcastle, they've got a good squad. They've signed Elanga, and Elanga's a great player. Elanga and Murphy battling it out. They might sign Ekitike, but I think he's going to go to Liverpool. Isak, best striker in the Premier League, one of the best strikers in the world. They've got Gordon and Barnes. It's a good squad. Then they've got a midfield of Bruno Guimaraes, Tonali, Joe Linton. Their defence is also solid. They've got Lewis Hall, great player. I do think they need a keeper. I think if they get Trafford, that would be good, but he's probably going to go to City. But, I think they're going to get Champions League. 4th, I have Arsenal. Now, they're typically finished 2nd, but they might have signed Gyökeres, and at the moment, they haven't signed Gyökeres, which is, it's surprising to me, right? But look at their team. I think, and then look at the other teams. I think there's other teams with better squad depth, better squad in general. Madueke, he's shit. Let's be real, he's not good. If they sign Gyökeres, he's a good striker, but look at when he was at Brighton. He played a few games and only scored 1 goal. Coventry did well. That's in the Championship. He only done well at Sporting, and he scored a hat-trick against City. But look at England, he's not proven there. We'll see, But they haven't got a good left winger. Madueke's not a left winger. They've got Saka, who's a good player. Odegaard's an overrated Paqueta. Rice and Zubimendi's good midfield. They've got a decent defence, very good defensive centre-backs. And David Raya, who's a good goalkeeper. I just don't think they'll get 2nd. Top 3 now, Chelsea in 3rd. They've just won the Club World Cup. They are officially the best team in the world. But I don't think they're going to win the Premier League. I think, City were in it. They didn't probably give it a try. City have a better squad than them, obviously. And Chelsea, they have a good squad. They've signed João Pedro and Delap. So, they're the main ones to me. Delap, Premier League proven striker of last season. João Pedro, what a tournament he had. I just really, and they got rid of Madueke. They've got Esteval, for example, as well. They got Gittins. They've got Palmer. They've got great players. They could even get second, or maybe even first. But I think the other two teams deserve it more. In second, I have Liverpool. Now, judging on the signings, and I made this list a couple weeks ago, I think they might actually win it again. But I've put them second purely. They had a great season last year, but they've got rid of Trent. Yeah, they've got Frimpong, he's a decent defender. Quite a good defender. And they might get Isak or Ekatike, who are two very good strikers. Just I don't think they're going to do it this year. And I think they'll fall short like they've done in previous years, for example, 18-19. I do think that City, who are in first, I won't make a separate part on that. I think they'll bounce back. And the reason I put City first is, they've got a good squad. Rodri's back, and Rodri's so influential for City. I genuinely think they will win. So that is it for my first YouTube video on this account for the summer. There's going to be more. There's going to be a lot more. And if you have watched this video, and if you've come from TikTok, or if you've seen this on your For You page, or whatever it is recommended for YouTube, there'll be more. Subscribe, like, leave a comment if you want to. It'll be a good, watch videos. I think I'm going to put a lot of time into them, and I put a lot of time into this video, and time and thought, maybe not time, but a lot of thought, and I hope you all liked it. See you later.